You know that there are times when a leader needs to recognize the most destructive force around, or at least what could be a potential destructive force. I had a video that I would love to have captured from LinkedIn and moved over to Facebook, but I didn't screen grab it and I couldn't share it and couldn't find the link to it. It was a video of a guy in his mug shop showing off his 35 years of mug collections. Now, I don't know if he made these or he's just been collecting them, but they were beautiful ceramic mugs all around the room. And the camera guy had the boom mic above the center of the room, above a display in the middle. And as the boom mic fell into the shot, the producer said, "Lift the mic, Dave, lift the mic." Well, he did, but unfortunately he caught it in the ceiling fan, and it swung around the room, knocking everything off the shelf, breaking every mug. And when he realized it was just going to keep spinning, he finally grabbed the mic and he held it until the ceiling fan fell out of the ceiling on top of all of the product in the center aisle. And in the end, it was all destroyed. Now, this all took about 10 seconds. And my comment when I shared that video was, sometimes, in fact, most times, it's not a boom mic or a broom handle or a stick of some sort. The most destructive force in most workplaces is an attitude. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast. 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, and I've been in enough workplaces where the attitude was a destructive force. Just recently, I was in my cargo van, or we call it the ugly bus, but it'll soon have a new wrap and it'll be a whole different thing. But as we were sitting there, I realized that the moonlight outside was putting more light on the dashboard than my interior light. It's usually a good sign that either the fixture or the bulb need to be replaced. So I went to the local parts store. I pulled the assembly down to replace the bulb and realized that this bizarre assembly, the lens cover, the frame that holds the light bulb, the wiring for the light bulb, it's all one piece. Just one piece. The only place to unplug anything is to unplug the entire assembly and remove it from the car. Lens, holder, light bulb, wires, and all. And so I carried the thing into the parts store and said, "I need one of these," and this is what it came from. And the guy does a very basic search. He's like, "No, we don't have that." And I looked over at the screen and I'm like, well, that particular page has 0 offerings, so I don't know exactly what he's looking at, but I don't know if he looked for dome lights or interior lights or just tow lights. I don't know, but I was a little disappointed. And I was like, well, what if you search it like this? He's like, "No, I've already looked." Wow, okay. Well, do you sell any other kind of lights? Maybe it's just old enough that I need to put a new kind of light fixture up there. What other lights do you have? He's like, "Yeah, they're over there." No aisle number, no walking me to it, no actually even pointing in the general direction of it. Just, we have some on the aisles. Okay, so I go over and I'm walking around, and my wife and I had been having a conversation about something else that we wanted, to put a storage tray on the back of the vehicle that folds up, not just one that stays sticking out, but one that folds up. And so I asked from the aisle, there were only 2 of us in the store, my wife, myself, and the people that work there. I said, "Do you have those trays that plug into your trailer hitch, but they raise up and lay down?" And he said, "No, we don't sell anything like that." And as the words are coming out of his mouth, my wife is standing on the back of one of the aisles pointing at one. And she goes, "Is that what you're looking for?" And I walked around and looked at it. And I'm like, "So you don't sell these?" He's like, "We don't have what you're looking for." And I'm like, wow. Okay, so we just walked out the door. Obviously, we didn't buy anything. I can tell you, more often than not, the places that I've chosen not to do business, the places where I was ready to exchange my cash for a service or a product that they offered, and I've chosen not to, and I've walked out the door, probably in the 90th percentile, it was because of the attitude of the clerk behind the counter or the manager of the store. We went to a restaurant a while back. Walked in, sat down. We watched 2 or 3 other tables seated as well. Watched 2 or 3 other tables get water, get their little appetizer, whether it was bread or chips or whatever, and nobody even said hi to us. And we stood up and walked out the door. And as we walked out the door, the assistant manager was standing at the hostess table with the hostess, and she said, "I hope everything was good. Did you have a good day?" And I was like, "You weren't even aware we were in the store. You didn't know we were here, so no. We didn't have a good time. We didn't have good food. We didn't have any food. It was horrible. I say all that to say, when a leader doesn't realize that the most destructive force in their business, it's not the economy. It's not your sales prices often. It's not whether or not you deliver the best product or the best service. It's often simply the attitude of your leadership team and the attitude that comes across to your customers. If you want to improve the quality of your business, yes, you've got to have good service. And yes, you've got to have top-notch quality. And yes, you've got to have a value. But like the old saying says, all things being equal, price being equal, quality of service being equal, customer service follow-up being equal, quality of the product being equal, we tend to do business with people we know, like, and trust. And that is built on attitude. If you don't have the right attitude, if your customer-facing employees don't have the right attitude, nothing will compensate for that. There is nothing you can buy or sell that will overcome a bad attitude. I'm just being honest with you. So if you're a leader with a bad attitude, or if you're a leader of a team that has a bad attitude, you better get that in check first, because it's more destructive than a boom mic wrapped around your ceiling fan flying around knocking things off the shelf. If customers have a choice, they will leave your place of business and go to the next one. The restaurant, my wife and I literally stood up, walked out the door, walked across the parking lot. We never even had to get back in our car to get a better deal, faster service, better value for our food and our money. And that place will probably never see us again. But they don't even know it. That's the sad part. As far as the parts store, there's another one just like it, same brand name, 6 miles away. I probably won't have any need to go back to the other one, even though it's closer to my home. It's not worth the time and the effort to put up with that kind of attitude. The challenge that you face as a leader is most time people won't even tell you about that. They'll decide with their feet, they'll vote with their feet by doing business elsewhere, and you'll never even know. If you've got people in your team with a bad attitude, or a leader or a manager with a bad attitude, you need to deal with that attitude yesterday. Get it fixed, get it corrected, or get them on down the road, because it ain't going to do any good for your business. People will walk, and they won't even tell you why. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.